Going live. You tell me I'm going live. I'm going live. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Monday. Happy knowing who the opponent is finally, so we can all stop saying it's going to be the Saints, obviously. Oh, whoops. It's not the Saints the Packers are going to play. It's the Seattle Seahawks. Sunday evening, divisional round at Lambeau Field. What is up in the comments? How are you, people? Why do I have zero confidence in the Pack winning this game? Michael, because you're not carrying the G. Put down your worrying, put down your negative Nancy BS, and carry the G. The Packers are absolutely winning this game. Stop with that nonsense. What is up, everyone? What is up, Nags? What is up, Caesar? What's up? Nags, I live in Seattle, and this shit is already annoying. Jade, I can only imagine. My condolences. But look, just carry it in your heart. Carry the G. Keep it within you, and then let it explode on Sunday night all over everybody who's been talking crap all week to you in Seattle. Cover Metcalf, Chad. That is a fine idea. I will forward that on to the appropriate parties, starting with Mike Pettin. Packers can score more than 17. Yes, they can. Have I watched The Witcher? A little bit. It's pretty cheesy. I didn't like it. Corey's agreeing with me. I think people are just starved for fantasy stuff since Game of Thrones is off the air, and people are like, "Oh, look at this!" And it's like, man, if you want like Game of Thrones type stuff, but that's actually really good, go watch Last Kingdom, the BBC production. It was first, I think it started. You could only get it on like Apple iTunes. You had to download it and buy it, blah blah blah. But now it's on Netflix because everything's on Netflix. But it's out. The Last Kingdom is outstanding. Go watch that instead of The Witcher. Who has a bigger game, Z or Kenny? I think they're both going to eat Hillary, but I think Za'Darius, who in the hell is going to block him in Seattle's front? Nobody, from what I can see. I mean, I think Seattle's entire game plan will be running at Z and trying to get the ball out of Russell Wilson's hands as quickly as possible.
Nobody can block Dean Lowry, Nagler.
Because nobody can block Dean Lowry, according to one Mr. Corey Banky. Jake, thanks for the super chat. I think LaFleur talks to McVay about Seattle. I wouldn't doubt it, especially that last game. They really seem to have their number in that one. McCarthy to the Cowboys. Awesome. John, I agree. I love that hire for Dallas. I know some in the national media are already poo-pooing it, which is fine. I think Mike's going to surprise a whole lot of people. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying he's going to be Andy Reid 2.0, but he could be close to Andy Reid 2.0. Everybody forgets now because Andy's done such a good job in Kansas City. But there was a time when the feeling around Andy Reid was very similar to the feeling around Mike McCarthy the last few years in Green Bay. And then he went to Kansas City and reinvented himself, and that's what I expect McCarthy is going to do down in Dallas. Now, will it be as amazing and will he score all the same points and blah, blah, blah? No, probably not. But I think he's going to surprise some people. Michael, thanks for the super chat. McCarthy and Nolan back together, the two guys that passed on Rodgers when they were with the 49ers. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that went official before I came on. I know Nolan's name has been kind of connected. I didn't see that there was an official hire yet, though. Reported, anyway. Can we cut that clip of Banky to use for Sunday when Lowry has a big day? Yes, of course. People chatting me. What is going on? Hans, thanks for the super chat. Why did Zimmer snub LaFleur after he lost to us? Just couldn't handle it. Just couldn't handle a young buck sweeping him. Sour grapes. What can you say, man? I know Vikings fans know, oh, he's just competitive and he's upset in the moment. It's no big deal. And really, it isn't that big a deal. But it is noteworthy. No doubt about it. I think I missed a super chat here. Hold on. No, got that one. All right, I got them all. Good. Kevin, thank you for the super chat. Going to my first Packer game this week. What should I do to make the most of it? You got to hit up. Make sure you're there. Please get there a day before, so you're not doing all this on the day of the game. But if you can get there on the Saturday, make sure you hit up Kroll's. Make sure you go down to the historic district, downtown Green Bay, see all the really cool spots that are connected to Packers history. The Packers historic walking tour. Yeah, it'll be a little cold, but it's worth it. Really cool stuff all around the stadium and in Green Bay proper. What up, Nags? You feel better about facing the Seahawks versus the Saints? I didn't care. I got asked probably 100 billion times. That's a rough estimate. On Twitter yesterday during the wildcard games, who do you want to face? Who's more important? Who's a better matchup? I don't care. The Packers were going to be beating whoever came into Lambeau on Sunday night. It just so happens it's the Seahawks. The Packers are winning the game. Saul, thanks for the super chat. I hope Packers can use Tyler Ervin more for this game, and Za'Darius Smith will have a big game after the All-Pro snub. I agree with all your points, and I picked Tyler Ervin as kind of my X factor for the playoffs on the radio the other day. I think we've started to see a little bit of what Ervin can mean to the offense. You saw him finally start to get involved these last few weeks, especially in Detroit. They gave him the ball on that one jet sweep, etc. I think you're going to see more and more of that as the playoffs go on. And I really like the potential for that opening stuff up throughout the entirety of the offense as it did in Detroit at some points. Green Bay has been Zimmer's nemesis since he began. It's amusing theater. I totally agree. Jair or King on Metcalf? I actually think it'll be King most of the time with safety help. Now, they could roll out Jair there and leave him alone on an island, and I wouldn't be upset at it. But I think, my idea would be King because of his length. Obviously, Metcalf is a huge guy, tall as hell. Let King go battle him with help over the top, and let Jair just eliminate whoever else they put out there. I think Jones goes off. Defense shows up. Reese, thank you for the super chat. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if Jones will go off per se, as we've seen him in the past. I'm not thinking Dallas and or Kansas City game, but I do think he'll be the focal point of the offense. He has to be. Can't be Aaron Rodgers. It's got to be Aaron Jones. And I do think we're going to see a bunch of that on Sunday night. Remember when people thought we weren't going to make the playoffs? LOL, go Pack go. Garrett, I remember it. I remember it well.
It was just like it was yesterday.
It was yesterday. Corey's all riled up, man. That's why I like doing them in here. Porkmaster, thanks for the super chat. Wilson was throwing several 50-50 balls. Can our boys take advantage? And Clowney targeted Wentz. Brian, thank you for the super chat as well. Porkmaster, to get back to that, to the idea of targeting, I think it's mostly the idea. Visual aids by Corey Banky. I don't agree that it was targeting. I think, we slow it down and we look at it in slow-mo, on repeat, etc. I think it's a bang-bang play in the moment. I would check out Stephen White, the former defensive end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's actually been on Packer Transplants back in the day. I thought he had a really good breakdown of it this morning on Twitter, laying out why he thought it was not a dirty play, and it was just a bang-bang thing that has gotten blown way out of proportion. But, hey, regardless of whether it was a dirty play or not, regardless of whether it was targeting, obviously he's priority number one when it comes to Sunday, blocking things up for Aaron Jones and Aaron Rodgers. Michael, thank you for the super chat. Over under times they show Carroll chewing gum. I don't know what it is, but take the over. Otis, thank you for the super chat. If Seattle plays like they did yesterday, we can definitely win. Who knew McCown still had the juice? Oh, man. I love Josh McCown. I love that he put it all out there. That post-game press conference, that was brutal to watch. I mean, you feel for the guy. He clearly did, as he said, leave it all out there. Nothing but respect for the guy. Absolutely. Nathan, thank you for the super chat. When Seahawks center has to choose between blocking Kenny Clark and Za'Darius Smith, he will choose retirement. I think you're onto something there, Nathan. Reminds me of when Corey Linsley had to go make his very first professional start in Seattle, and Bruce Irvin said he was going to pray for him. Corey held up all right, though. I want the Vikings to win to beat the 49ers just so we can kick their ass for a third time this season and a second time at Lambeau. Lucas, it's like you're in my brain, man. I love it. David, the Witcher video game is amazing. Yes, the video game is phenomenal. As Corey agrees with that one as well. But the show, yikes. Corey Mansky, I know you're all in, Aaron, and I am too. I'm curious about your emphatic prediction. Explain why you feel so strongly we need some of that juice. Just the way they've been playing. And look, I know the quote-unquote schedule played out in a way that they didn't quote-unquote play anybody down the stretch. Their defense rose up until you get to that Minnesota game and you see what they're capable of, and that's in Minnesota. Now, against Detroit, yes, the game plan was curious, the ability to, the desire to push the ball down the field. I don't think we're going to see anything like that. I think they're going to be refreshed, ready to go. We'll have a very succinct game plan that doesn't resemble anything we saw in Detroit. I just think they're playing very well on defense, and I think they'll do enough on offense. And the Lambeau mystique is real. Lambeau is back. No one's coming into Lambeau and beating this team. It's just not happening. Why so few likes? Paul, I don't know. People are stingy with the likes on this channel. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. And hey, while we're at it, oh, wait. So we want the Vikings to win, unfortunately. Well, it'll be the second week in a row people talking about the Vikings winning. Corey doesn't want the Vikings to win. Corey wants to go to San Francisco, apparently.
Don't ever root for the Vikings.
Saw a baby, Nags, and Banky on an interview video from like 10 years ago. Yes, William, that video is all of a sudden, it's in the bloodstream. Everyone's sending it to us. That was the NFC Championship game down in Chicago back in 2010. It was feels like a lifetime ago. Oh, let's see. Is the newfound loudness at Lambeau offer a significant advantage? Duke, I don't know if I'd characterize it as significant, but it's noticeable. The teams having to operate in the noise, the environment, etc. It's just worlds different than it had been for the last few years. Now, obviously, some of that's just going to be naturally. It's going to be different because you've got a new coach, new players, a new way of approaching game day that the Packers have taken with the video shout outs and everything. But I'll also say the crowd is just better and they're winning and it all adds up. And now they're in the playoffs for the first time in 3 years. You got to think people are going to be totally jacked. I know Corey Banky is going to be jacked up to be at Lambeau Field at a playoff game. First game he's attending all year, crazily enough. Went to Green Bay every single week. This will be the first game that he's attended this season. Mike McCarthy's parting words before heading southward. Follow Cheesehead TV on Instagram. Thank you, Tyler. Nathan, holy shit, I am excited. Yeah, man, me too. How much of a factor do you believe Raven Green will be moving forward? Well, they have yet to officially activate him, I believe. He's practicing. Oh, no, they did. That's right. They did. They took him off the IR and brought him back to return. So, how much of a factor do I think he'll be? Again, as I said on transplants this past week, I think it'll be a rotational thing. I don't think he's going to come in and play 75% of the snaps or anything. But if we get the guy that we saw those first couple weeks of the season, I think it will be a marked difference. Now, I do wonder about communication, rust factor, etc. But his physicality, his ability down in the box, coupled with he's probably the most athletic guy they've got in regards to being able to turn his hips and fly if, say, he's got a tight end to cover or a back out of the backfield. I think he really helps them in that regard. And we all know the trouble the Packers have had covering tight ends this year. I'm not sitting here saying he's going to shut anybody down, but I do think he will he will do worlds better than what's been on offer. What else we got? Who do you think lines up with Metcalf? Bethany, I talked about that before. I think it'll be Kevin King with safety help for the most part, and then go let Jair handle everything that they want to throw on whatever other side. Analysis of Jared Valdir so far. Brian, surprisingly, I thought he looks like he hasn't missed any time at all. I mean, after so much time off, I thought for sure you'd see a little rust, and maybe he's just been killing it in practice, but the amount of snaps he's taken, it's hard to find fault with much of them. And those have both come in away situations. I'll be very interested to see how he plays in Lambeau if he's needed. Allison, thanks for the super chat. Happy birthday to Olive. Thank you so much. Happy New Year's to you and your family, Nags. All the Twitter haters can go F themselves. Love you too, Banky. Thank you, Allison. That's very kind of you. Yes, it is my youngest daughter's 12th birthday today. Where the hell does time go? This is true. Olive was born in between the snow globe game that the Packers won against the Seahawks and the NFC Championship game where they lost to the Giants. When Tynes kicked the field goal to send the Giants to the Super Bowl, Olive was laying on my chest, and everything as far as like my perception of football and the Packers and everything it meant kind of changed that day. So I'll always be thankful for Olive for many reasons, but for that in particular. Chad, thanks for the super chat. For love of Odin, do not let Metcalf get behind you. Yeah, you got that right, Chad. No doubt about it. Tyler, thanks for the super chat. Our pass rush versus their O-line and our O-line versus their pass rush. I love our chances. In my opinion, key to this game is similar to Minnesota in keeping Wilson in the pocket. I mean, yeah, I think both of those, those matchups favor the Packers. I don't think there's any question about it. Make sure you check out cheeseheadtv.com. Got a couple articles up already about matchups in this game and things that favor, go in the Packers' direction, etc. And your point here is spot on. I do believe they are going to absolutely do. Wait, sorry, I missed a super chat. JJ9000, thanks for the super chat. Is there an official or unofficial order to who asks the questions at Green Bay press conferences? Absolutely not. You want to ask, you just ask. You don't raise your hand, you don't do anything, you just talk. And every once in a while, you'll hear two guys start at the same time, and they'll go, "Oh, you go ahead," blah blah blah. But no, there's no order, no rhyme or reason. You just once you're in, you just start asking. AJ, thank you for the super chat. Just me thinking about my shoulder with age, but does A-Rod have a lingering injury from past collarbone breaks? Seems like the fastball is a bit off. It's hard to say, okay, this is age or injury or what have you, but I think it's all starting to add up for Aaron. I don't think there's any question there. Obviously, he would never admit to that, but I don't think it takes a genius or a scientist to figure out that, yeah, he doesn't quite have the pop in those passes, those long kind of cross-field throws, say to the far hash that he once had. But it's still better than the majority of the league. It's just not prime Aaron Rodgers. But how much of that is father time? How much of that is the residue of a couple collarbone breaks? It's hard to say specifically, but what you're seeing, you're not imagining. He definitely has fallen a bit off in that regard. Uncultured Barbarian, thanks for the super chat. I just want a Packers win in a banky mixed old fashioned. Man, let me tell you what. Having experienced that very thing several times this year, you're on to something, my friend. You are on to something. How good a general manager is Gutekunst? Peter, that's an excellent question. I will say I think it's still early. Early returns are very good. Managing this success from this year is going to be interesting, how he goes about it, especially sorry, guys, especially considering last offseason he was able to go open up the purse strings, so to speak, and go get a bunch of defensive free agents, etc., spend a bunch of money. Cap's going to be a little more interesting this year, although Aaron Rodgers converting that bonus opened up $11 million. Got to think cutting Jimmy Graham, maybe Lane Taylor, etc. That opens up some more money. But I'll be interested to see how he attacks it, where he chooses to spend, and what he uses in the draft, what he emphasizes. But like I said, early returns are very good. I'm pretty impressed. Porkmaster, thanks for the super chat. Someone wanted to know, is there a meetup with Cheesehead TV at Lambeau? Also, I want Seattle's soul. Don't we all? No official meetup as of yet. I will not be in Green Bay. Corey will. But if there is something to be done, if Corey ends up doing something, we will certainly let everybody know. Better gum chewer, Carroll or Hundley? Well, it's got to be Carroll. It's led him to a Super Bowl, right? McCarthy or Holmgren? Better coach? Whew. Travis, good question. I got to go with Holmgren. I love Mike. I love McCarthy, obviously. I think he's a vastly underrated coach, but I think Holmgren was the better coach. Do you think inside linebacker will be a priority in the draft? I do, Sly. I don't think they're going to go out and swing away with free agency dollars. I do think for the first time in a long time, they'll look to draft an inside linebacker. Now, where that's going to be, I'm not quite sure. I would think it'd be a premium pick, although there's no real way to know right now. 2019 Packers would beat the 85 Bears at home. I see no lie. Seattle and then San Fran. I can't think of a better time to use the phrase revenge tour. Time for 12 to exercise some playoff demons. Matt, I don't know about all that, especially if it's in San Francisco, but I love the idea. I'd be here for it. Kenny Clark needs to get paid. Peter, you ain't lying, and I suspect he will. Any news on why Lazard didn't practice today? Katie, I got to think, they don't have to give a official injury report until Wednesday, but it's got to be that ankle that he got hurt playing in Detroit on that third down. So just praying for good health. Hopefully they're just holding him out as a precaution to get him ready for Sunday. But, man, it didn't look good when he went down. So we'll see. Michael, what a question. Would you rather blow them out or come back down 16 in the fourth? Blow them out. My heart, man, my heart. I'm getting old. I can't handle all that. Sorry, guys. John, thanks for the super chat. Happy new decade in Packers playoffs. Does coach roll out any gadget plays, a flea flicker, a swing pass to Rodgers? I hope not a swing pass to Rodgers, but I don't think it'll be flea flickers, but I do think you'll see something special, some extra wrinkles, some new looks, things we haven't seen during the regular season. But I don't think he's gonna go crazy. How confident are you in the Vikings pulling a win out over the 49ers? Not very. Can TBLS be our Taysom Hill? No, 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 no. Costas, you got to let that go, man. I'm sick and tired of people raving over the 85 Bears. Their offense was at best practice squad level. Okay, relax. Any team that had sweetness on it was not practice squad level. Were they dynamic? No, of course not. But they were perfect for the team they had. The 85 Bears are a good football team. There's nothing wrong with that. 96 Packers were better, but that's another story. We definitely need some trick plays. Josh, I'll let Coach know. Did you see the news about the 2 new future signings? Thoughts? Katie, I did. I'm not overly familiar with either one of them, but the wide receiver seemed very productive up in Canada. Let's just stop talking about that gross ass Minnesota team. You got that right. Let's see. Has the sickness bug left the locker room yet? I've heard many players coming down with illness this week. Frank, I haven't heard of many. I've heard that there is something going on, and that is why Elton Jenkins wasn't at practice today because he's battling it. Hopefully. Oh, God. I'm so glad Banky isn't here to see that. This one's for Bostic. Come on, Mike. He who shall not be named. Can't wait for Beast Mode to run into a wall. I do love that Beast Mode's coming to Lambeau, though. I love Marshawn. I love Marshawn. I mean, as long as the Packers win, he can go ham. I don't care. Like, I love him. Do the Packers consider Tua? That's a really good question, Danny. Yeah, I gotta think they do. I don't know. People probably don't want to hear that for whatever reason, but yeah, I think it's a possibility. There's a long way to go between now and the draft, obviously, and lots could play out in regards to who else is available, where the Packers are picking, how those needs line up, etc. But yeah, I gotta think he's on the board. Do you think Wilson's struggles at Lambeau will continue? Yes. Do you think McCarthy was a safer pick for the Cowboys due to resume? I think that's part of it, no doubt about it. I mean, you look at this is what their 9th coach in history, and after Tom Landry and Jimmy Johnson, it's a pretty pedestrian group, and other than Bill Parcells, and I think after such a long time with Jason Garrett, I think obviously the resume helped having a Super Bowl win, all the winning Mike did in Green Bay, but I also think that sometimes Jerry just wants a commanding guy, a big personality. That was like when he got Parcells, or when he got To, or when he traded for Galloway all those years ago. And I don't think that's why he did it, but I think that helps. And I do think Mike is pushing into the media of how much he's been working this past year, looking at new things on offense, embracing analytics. He visited the PFF offices back in September, we found out today. So I do think all of that added up, but the resume certainly didn't hurt. Porkmaster, this game come down to their O-line versus our D-line? I don't know if it comes down to it, but that's certainly a major component. Seattle trying to stave off Za'Darius and company, because I don't see them being able to block them up for much of the game. Kenny Clark is going to get his on Sunday. I totally agree. Is there any advantage with the game in 30-degree range? Jimmy, I don't think so. I think both teams are pretty used to it. Seattle's traveled really well this year. I think they're 7-1 on the road. I mean, the Packers are used to it, whatever that means, because they live there. But for the most part, once the game starts, much more important is how windy is it, and I don't think there's supposed to be any precipitation, but the wind is the one thing that can affect things. But I don't right now, the way the forecast looks, I think both teams will be fine. Jerry's got McCarthy because he's 8-2 in Jerry World. There you go. I like it. J.J. Abrams ruined Star Wars. Changed my mind. Garrett, that's easy. Go watch The Mandalorian. Solved. Or go watch Solo or Rogue One. Those are all awesome Star Wars stories, Star Wars content. Just don't worry about J.J. Abrams. It's fine. If we win this week and play Minnesota in the NFC Championship game, do you think we can beat them a third time this year? Arthur. Are you carrying the G as you type that into your computer? Can they? Not only can they will. If it comes to that. No one's coming into Lambeau and beating this team. It is not happening. Can you see McCarthy being able to handle Jerry Jones? Yes, Nathan. Absolutely. 1,000%. Who covers Metcalf? Okay, this is my third who covers Metcalf. So I'm gonna jump after this, but I think it's gonna be Kevin King with safety help for much of the game, and then go let Jair unlock it and whoever else he needs to erase from existence. But I do think Metcalf is a problem. He's a big physical guy, no doubt about it. Oh, Travis, that is funny. Will you be in Green Bay on Sunday? No, Stephen, I will not. I'll be here in New York doing a watch party, doing a live stream. Corey Benke will be in Green Bay attending the festivities. All right, everybody. I'm going to jump. Thank you so much for all the questions. I'm sorry if I couldn't get to yours. They do fly by rather fast. Please consider giving us $5 a month on our Patreon, patreon.com/cheeseheadtv. It supports everything we do. And hey, tons of great stuff up over there at cheeseheadtv.com. Go check it out. Thanks a lot, everybody. Talk to you guys tomorrow.